started.
All right. We left off last session. You guys have removed the prophet from this air temple.
Started.
One Arisi Kalanoth. This was done 2 sessions back. And after she was dealt with, you guys decided to spend some time looking around, making sure that the temple was cleared out, finding that the vast majority, if not all, of the remaining cultists have disappeared. Either they've fled, or they've moved deeper, or you have yet to come across them. But you guys did a fairly thorough investigation of the remaining temple complex. There was some ghouls that were discovered in a sealed burial chamber. They were relatively easily dealt with. A little bit of petrification going around, but it was easily overcome. A large Umber Hulk was discovered in one of the oldest, most ruined portions of this temple complex. Again, relatively easily dispatched. I believe only one member went down below 0. The Cloaker, of course, being the bane of Deeb's current existence, latched onto him twice before being summarily executed. We ended off last session. You guys spent some time in what looked like a former bar or relaxation or former tavern, perhaps, of this once dwarven temple, while a couple of you continued to scout the remaining hidden areas. And discovering a large creature, waited for more backup before Aranor proceeded to investigate himself, discovering that it was a massive, quite ancient carcass of a great purple worm. You found several skeletons or skeletal remains of dwarves in and around the worm's carcass and the hole that seemed to go much deeper. That is where we are going to pick up. I cannot remember if we ended on a long rest.
I don't know.
We
didn't.
We did. We were choosing where to go. I'd suggested we go to the quarters by where we were first taken by whatever his name was.
Oh, looks like Starsha's having headphones issues too.
Canada's contagious.
Apparently. So we'll just wait a few minutes. Do you guys have any plan for what the day is going to bring you?
I think we were going to investigate the treasure moat.
Kaladar has some interest in checking out what's at the bottom of one or both of those holes. If nobody else is up for that, he'll do it himself.
Starsha, you're good now? Your headphones are okay?
Yeah, I forgot that you actually have to put in the little plug in order to have Bluetooth work.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta plug it in.
Shocking.
All right, so you guys did manage to get a long rest. I have no idea what time of the day it actually is. You are very deep underground, and all of your sense of time has been thrown out the window. But you have completed a long rest. You're recovered, and you can now proceed with whatever it is you'd like to do. I'm going to move all of you to one of those rooms, though.
I'm going to send a message to Savra.
Of course you are.
Using my stone. But I'm going to let me write it out.
Sure.
What's the limit again? Let me see.
25 words.
Thank you.
I'll just put you all in this sort of tavern room. So while Aranor is sitting on a chair, sort of apart from you, trying to construct a message, what are the rest of you doing?
And sorry, we have just completed a long rest, or we are sitting down.
You have completed a long rest.
Okay.
So we do want to deal with the moat, and I think we should discuss whether, by vote, whether we venture deeper. I think there are four ways down. The waterfalls, the caves by the waterfalls, the pit, and the worm.
Deebs, just a question. I don't see a stream represented on Roll20 right now.
He's busy polishing his stones.
Huh?
Huh?
I'm logged in.
Hmm.
It's going.
Okay.
I have it up on YouTube.
Okay.
I always have it up just in case. It's because I'm using the same login
Ah, gotcha.
for Aranor. Yeah, that's why.
Okay.
Sorry.
No problem. All right. What would you guys like to do?
As far as the going down the hole, Felix isn't too interested at this point.
Okay.
Taladar's vote is for finding out what's down there, but not actually going down there as a group. Until we know what's down there. He's loaded up with invisibility and fly, and that's probably enough.
Moss, what are your thoughts?
Moss feels like it's the patterns we need to deal with the rest of these prophets first before we venture deeper. But he has prepared a bunch of things for him to do cave spelunking if needed.
Okay. Starsha?
I don't know. See what treasures are in the moat.
Okay.
We're probably out of sync with sunrise, right? Like it's not a new day yet. Okay. I will not reset my items then.
So knowing that this place has been cleared out, at least to the best of your knowledge, you all feel relatively safe in wandering this complex.
So shall we try to explore this moat then? We know the gears do something with the water.
Well, there seems to be some treasure beneath the surface that could help further our goals.
Moss looks at the indecision and just starts walking towards the door. He's going to go to the gear room.
Yeah, Taladar's following him. He's all about that get that paper. Or, coin. Get that metal.
I have my message.
All right. While you guys are discussing perhaps what best next steps, it looks like Aranor is in the process of sending a message.
We have vanquished the possible leader of the air cultists. Some cultists fled. Be wary. Please send word to Oshin via Raven. Be well, Aranor. That's exactly 25.
Wow.
Fucking white bread ass message.
It doesn't take long for a reply to come through. Message received. Good news. I will send to Lady Oshin. Hope to see you soon. That's all you get.
Okay.
wink face emoji.
Nice. I thought we were going to, during our long rest, we were going to have some conversations.
No, that's going to come during the session.
I see. Okay. Sorry, proceed.
So, Moss and Taladar have headed off to the machine room, for lack of a better term.
As I'm leaving, I motion out to Felix. Felix, I think we could use your expertise here.
What's the machine room?
The
I
gear
will
room?
put you guys there.
The
Oh.
Conan room.
Okay.
Yeah.
there.
That is exactly
that
what I thought
reference.
of when I was building it.
I'm like trying to remember machines. I'm like, we didn't see any machines. Didn't I already look at it when we were there the first time and
I
not
think
really
so.
understand too much? I think it was pretty high roll. I mean, I'll take a look at it again.
Okay. Okay, you guys should all be on the map now. Gonna remove all these dead guys, though. They're still there on the map. There are various corpses that you've passed on your way here. Nobody seems to have come up and retrieved any of the bodies, which you could assume is good news, I suppose. You find your way to this large machine room. Both of these gigantic cogs with spokes are unmoving, but they do look like they are well serviced. Felix, having checked them out last time he was here, it indicated that they seem to connect to a deeper mechanism, and that it most likely has something to do with controlling either the pressure or the level of the water in the moat.
Taladar takes one look at these massive wheels and the strength required to push them and just says, I won't be of much use here, but I can watch the water and send word back to you of what happens. And he just kind of looks at the group expectantly.
Do we have any idea if the water was increasing or decreasing whenever we showed up the last time?
Because you didn't have anyone checking the water, you're not sure.
If nobody objects, Taladar will go back out to the water and keep an eye on it. With the he'll leave the door open behind him, and he'll have the message cantrip ready to go.
Okay. Felix, are you? Maybe it's worth a second look, and I will give guidance to Felix. I don't know if Felix can do it again or not.
Maybe the Jinn gave some extra knowledge that I can get something else out of it?
Make an intelligence roll. Actually, no, you don't have to. After speaking with the Jinn and your knowledge roll from last time, it is a fairly simple mechanism, and you are pretty sure that you know everything there is to know about its workings. It's for raising and lowering the water that swirls around the pyramid before emptying into a waterfall that spills into nothingness.
Well, Felix, do you know how do we do one or the other?
Well, first, I think we need to get about 6 slaves tie him to this thing and have him push it around.
Aranor,
I see 4 right here.
Aranor spits on his hands, and grabs the thing and starts turning it if he can.
You're turning the one that you're standing in front of?
Yeah.
Which one?
Okay.
Oh, whoa there.
Give me a strength check. The mechanism begins to creak and groan, and it does begin to very slowly move, but it requires a great deal of effort from you.
Good.
Do you have anything?
I
you
look
can
at Felix
turn
while
into
he's
to help?
pushing. Is that the right one to push? Is that the right way to push?
What did you say, Felix?
I was asking Moss if he had anything large he could turn into to help, other than just Aranor trying to push it himself.
I do, but I can't talk once I change, and I'm trying to make sure we're doing the right thing here.
Well, it's already starting to move.
All right.
It's just slow.
I assume I would tell him if that was the wrong way.
With your intelligence and your background in mechanisms and tinkering, the sheer fact that he can move it at all indicates to you that he's probably using the right one. It's going the right way. Because at this point, he's now moved it so that he is standing here.
Look at him go.
It's quite slow. And it is taking extreme effort on his part, but it is slowly moving.
I will help in 1 second once I see what I can shift into that has high strength.
Bear.
Well, everybody else in the room, let's see, Starshot, Moss, and Felix make an intelligence check.
While they're doing that, can Taladar hear the moving of the wheel through the wall, from where he's at, or is he completely unaware?
Make me a perception check.
Okay. So that's going to be a no then.
Here we go.
Wow.
You can hear some movement, some deep mechanical sound. It doesn't sound like it's coming through the wall, but from below you.
Okay.
You also get a sense that something else is moving farther to the north. Also sounds mechanical. But your perception isn't high enough to know necessarily what that was.
All right. Well, he'll just keep it simple and watch the water line. Sort of make a mental note of where it's at. Across the way from him, on the.
The water currently that you can see flowing around the walkway around the pyramid is only about 5 feet below the surface of the walkway.
Okay.
Moss and Felix, your intelligence rolls tell you that it's not going to require a great deal more strength to push this thing. Moss, you would know. You don't even need to wild shape to do it.
Too late. Moss is now a brown bear.
All right. So as
And
a
goes to
bear,
help.
are you mushing? Okay. Give me a strength check as a bear. That combined with Aranor's previous roll, this mechanism begins to move much more quickly. It's not fast by any means, but it is smooth. After a couple minutes, Taladar, you can see that the water level, after hearing some more mechanical sounds, perhaps gates dropping, you can see that the water level looks like it is slowly dropping.
Right. He'll cast message and relay that, and if nobody hears, he will move a little bit further down the hallway to increase the range of the spell. If the wall is more than a foot thick, the spell will have to travel the long way, around this way. And he'll pick. I don't know. He'll just pick somebody at random. He knows who's pushing, so he'll pick Starsha or Felix. He'll pick Starsha and he'll message her and just say the water's going down. Can you hear me?
Starsha, you can hear him.
Yeah, I'll relay the message to the others.
So after another few minutes, maybe up to 5, the water level has now dropped by about 10 feet.
Yep, he'll jog back and relay that again and jog forward.
Mm-hmm. Another 5 minutes of pushing. It seems to have dropped another 5 feet. So the water level has now dropped a total of 15 feet. Paladar, make a perception check.
But why? It's me.
Because you're out there.
Oh, it's going down.
It is definitely easier to see below the surface of the water, just not nearly as far to the very bottom. You can begin to see items. They are gathered in sort of the corners and the edges of the waterway, but there are definitely items down there.
I'm gonna cast light on, I don't know, a copper coin and toss it into the water.
Okay.
So that I can see the bottom more easily. Just, wherever nearby.
Sure. So you chuck it in there. That allows you to see much, much easier. There are piles of treasure, items, lot of coins, some gems, beneath the surface of the water. Most of them have gathered up into distinct piles, with a handful of loose items spread around.
He's gonna jog back however far he needs to until... actually, you know what? He can make it probably a turn of running. He's gonna run back to the doorway and just shout in, "The water's down 15 feet. How much left to go, do you think, Dark?"
I would say at this point, it has become noticeably more difficult to turn this mechanism. Felix, with your previous role and your knowledge of mechanisms, just by listening, you can tell that it's reaching the end of what it can do.
Perhaps maybe stop turning and we'll see if the water stays where it's at. And Taladar will run back and watch.
Running back, after a few minutes, it looks like the water has stabilized.
Okay. So we think that they don't have to keep turning the wheel to keep the water at bay. All right, he will run back and relay that.
So the water level looks like it's stabilized now. It only appears to be 5 feet, maybe 10 feet at the deepest in the center. And it seems to have reached the maximum allowed drainable level.
And that's just from turning the one wheel.
Yes.
Do we know what the other wheel does?
You said one was pressure and one was depth?
Felix at this point would know that the other one probably undoes what the first one did. You're not quite entirely sure how. You don't know if it's a mechanism of floodgates that are somewhere deep below. You do know that these two mechanisms, these two cogs, do connect to something much larger underground somewhere. Perhaps that is what they're doing. They have some sort of counterweight system that pulls up and drops large floodgates somewhere.
All right. Well, shall we investigate in there?
If it's as low as we're going, we might be able to pick out some of it.
Mm-hmm.
Taladar, standing on the bridge, looking down, it is about a 15 to 20 foot drop to the water's surface.
Yeah, I'm a little more worried about the thing that was in there.
That's what I was just gonna say.
so,
Keep an eye out for that.
Yeah. Telador is going to grab a handful of copper coins, 10 copper coins from his coin purse, and just start walking and looking. And if at any point it gets dark down there and he can't see, he'll cast light on one and toss it down, and then just keep doing that as he needs to, with the light passing on the previous coin as he casts it on the next one.
Make a perception check.
Dark, as a bear, am I able to fit through that door?
What door?
The door I'm in front of?
Let's see.
Try anyways.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, just like the water, my perception checks are decreasing steadily.
You can fairly easily see the bottom all the way along. It looks like there might be some slightly deeper parts, but that just causes a little bit more difficulty in seeing the bottom. Looking around, it doesn't look like there's any large, deep pockets remaining within the moat.
All right. Yeah, maybe the low perception check would represent him just kind of getting bored of doing that and running back prematurely and not really waiting around to see what's
Moss,
what.
are you still able to mold earth?
No, I'm not. Well, the bear shakes his head no.
Moss, you do hear, if you're approaching the bridge, a loud, heavy cadence. It's like a rhythmic thumping. Sounds like it's a little distance away. Somewhere to the north.
Is it coming towards us or wheeling away from us?
You're not sure. It's some distance to the north.
North, but I can't tell west or east. Okay. I'll just shift out of bear form. I hear it to the north. Don't know where exactly it is or where it's moving. We heard it north on the last time as well. Maybe it just sticks to the north side. And Moss will start heading north to see if he can isolate it.
Okay.
I would bring out my
Let's say-
homunculus Darkstar.
Let's say
Okay.
I'll go on the east side.
The east side, okay. Felix is bringing out his homunculus.
There he is.
You should have control of it.
I do not.
Okay. I've been spending so much time with Foundry, I don't know how to give you access to it now.
The token?
Yep.
You just right-click the... double-click the
I got
token, and yeah, there should be a give control.
There you go.
All right. Got so many bars.
Moss, you check around the eastern side of the waterway around the pyramid, but you see nothing. As Moss is checking that way, anyone who's remaining on the bridge can now begin to hear heavy, rhythmic pounding. It does sound like it's approaching your direction.
Time we get off the bridge.
Yep, move off the bridge.
Moss keep going clockwise, I'm sorry, counterclockwise, unless he hears a difference or some indication of him to go a different direction.
So Moss continues around the north side of the pyramid and begins to come down the western side. As you come down the western side, the loud roar of the massive waterfall obscures your hearing for anything beyond. But what you do see, approaching the bend, turning around the southern end, is a large form in the water.
I will move up towards the bend, staying, I'm not going to get near the edge.
All of you can now see, coming around the bend, a large form. It is slowly making its way through the center channel. Reaches a corner and it stops.
Shit out a goblet. How tall is it? Like, is it height with us, or?
You guys are standing on the walkway around the pyramid, and from the edge of that walkway to the surface of the water is about 15 feet down. This figure seems to stick out of the water by about 10 feet. You would assume that if the waterway was completely full, it would be completely submerged. But as it stands, it's about almost 10 feet out of the water. So you would assume that this thing is probably 14, 15 feet tall.
And made of stone, as the token might indicate.
From this distance, it looks like it is most likely stone. It seems to have stopped in that corner.
I think, sorry, it's kind of hard to see who's with me here. It's everybody but Moss is together, right?
Yep.
Taladar is going to whisper to Starsha to hide, and he's going to cast invisibility at 4th level to hide himself, Rin, and Felix. For each slot above second. Yep. Yeah, so he'll cast invisibility at 4th level.
Okay, so I will need stealth checks from the 3 of you. And Starsha, if you are hiding, I will need a stealth check from you.
With advantage.
Yes. You all think that you are well enough hidden. But of course you have no real way of knowing. After a few minutes of watching this thing, it slowly turns and faces the east and begins walking.
Does its head go from side to side, or is it just staring straight ahead?
It looks to be staring straight ahead.
Moss is going to try to see, just count out how long it takes to do the length of the wall. I guess we don't really have a time-telling device. Some rough idea of the time.
Based on the speed of its movements, you're going to be here some time before it reaches the eastern wall.
Do we have any way to push it over the edge of the waterfall?
I was just thinking the same thing. Do we have like a gust of wind or something?
It's quite large.
Once the statue passes, well, I guess I can't see the group. Never mind. Moss kind of looks around. Where'd everyone go?
I don't have a way to move it. Felix, do you have any magic that can move something against its will of that size?
I could try to thunder wave it.
Dark, can we switch to the map where we can see the water and like the whole thing?
Yes.
Grazie.
Moss will follow on behind this thing, like not get in front of it, but just behind it so I can't see him, as stealthily as possible, and just looking for the group. Like what happened, everyone?
Oh man, yeah, look at that waterfall.
So you are currently not standing on this map. There was no better way to split this map, unfortunately. I can put you guys on, but I won't be able to put the golem on.
I mean, we could do all of this on the other side of the map too. It's kind of doesn't matter where we're at.
But that is about where you guys are standing, and the golem is slowly making its way to the other side.
I mean, I'm not sure if it can reach us with its big hand.
After a few more minutes, it comes up to almost level where your position is. It looks like it's just about to pass under the bridge.
Oh, it's that slow?
Yeah.
Seems like we have plenty of time.
Its head doesn't seem to move in your direction. You're not sure that it's even able to. And it slowly moves underneath the walkway, under the bridge. It is either unaware or doesn't care about you being there. It just continues its slow, plodding movement east.
All right. Let's get down there quickly.
Yeah, I'm just gonna whisper to the group. If we all jump at the same time, I can get us to the bottom safely.
Moss still has no idea where they are.
You
So
haven't
we're-
come around the edge?
Where is Moss?
I'm behind, like, say 10 paces behind the statue.
Gotcha.
No, then if you're 10 paces behind the statue, you can see, well, with your perception, you can see at least half of the group there.
But they're
You can see-
invisible.
You can see Starsha hiding.
But they're invisible, right?
You can see Starsha hiding. She's not invisible.
Okay. I motion for Starsha to come over.
Let me put Moss on the map here because I don't think he's on. This stone creature is now moving out from underneath the bridge, heading east.
So, okay, so I move up to Starsha. I think the bridge is past her.
They're
Starsha.
sort of just above it.
Well, I'm still keeping behind the thing.
Well, if you're 10 paces behind it, you're basically right behind Starsha.
I whisper to Starsha. I think it might have an idea. Where did everyone else go?
Nobody's invisibility is or stealth is high enough to prevent you from seeing them. You can see them all.
Oh, there you guys are.
We're right here.
I could try polymorphing it. That'd give us an hour of time. Don't have to worry about it.
Worth a try. Could also wait until it gets near the waterfall, polymorph it, and throw it over the edge.
I had the same thought.
Yeah.
That works for me.
Yep.
I'm just
Let's do it.
rifling through, seeing what I could polymorph it into.
If you turn it into a fish, then we can play some Benny Hill chase music while we try and chase it around the water.
I was thinking about doing a fish and me going to an octopus. That was this is the plan going through my mind right now.
Whoa, Starsha like that. Careful. Uh-oh.
So we should be prepared if the polymorph fails.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes,
Mhm.
Okay, my Discord just went weird. Sorry.
I've been having Discord issues a lot lately. Can you link the polymorph spell for me, please?
Yes, I can. Dark, I don't see a simple fish as an animal I can polymorph into. Is that a possibility?
I believe so. Let me just double check.
Something not too complicated, like a carp or a bass or something.
Yeah, let's just say that you can, because I don't want to spend forever looking for it.
Okay. Are we all ready? This may go awry.
Yep.
Yeah, you guys might want to move your tokens into position.
Where are you gonna do it, Moss? Where you?
Oh, I was going to do it right where we are. But if you guys want to wait till it goes all the way into the waterfall.
If you guys want to wait until it comes all the way to be parallel with the waterfall, it's going to take probably about an hour for it to come around.
I mean, we're not in a hurry.
It is currently... Well, you can't see where it is, but in the water, it would be roughly here.
Is that waterfall pulling pretty well?
Because the level of water has dropped off, the power of the waterfall and the pull of the water has lessened significantly.
Has the wyvern floated away and off yet?
Make a perception check.
Oh yeah, forgot about that guy.
With a 14, you haven't seen it so far as you've been moving around the waterway.
Maybe the golem cleaned it.
He might get pissed if we touch his treasure, so we should be prepared to fight it if the polymorph fails.
All right, so are we going to wait, or did you want me to do it now?
If you're doing a fish, something harmless, then we can probably do it now.
Yep.
Okay. I'll wait till it passes the bridge and is a little bit further along.
It has passed the bridge.
And
It's about 10 feet beyond the bridge now.
Okay. And then I will cast polymorph on it into a carp.
Okay. You weave the spell together, and you set out your cast towards this stone creature. And nothing happens.
Oh. Is it like it failed, or just nothing happened?
It looks like, or it feels like, the magic feels like it didn't even take. It didn't even... It's not that it failed to save. It just had zero effect.
Guys, I have bad news. I cannot polymorph that. Did it turn around or anything?
It's continuing to move to the east.
Can Talara make an Arcana check just to try and understand what happened? Like,
yeah,
oh,
make
constructs are immune to polymorph.
Make an Arcana check.
17.
With a 17, yes, you would know, just by the very nature of the spell not taking hold at all, that this is most likely a construct.
Yeah, he'll keep his fucking mouth shut because he should have figured that out before the spell was wasted. He'll quietly feel bad about that and just get real quiet.
You would know that golems, especially, are immune to any spell that would alter its form.
That's a shame, Moss. I was certain it would work.
I don't understand what happened. You know, I know I've not used polymorph many times, but it felt like it wasn't even there.
I pat Moss on the back and say, "Keep trying, little buddy. You'll get it."
Moss will just start druid crafting to see if this, essence of magic is still operable. Some pleasant aromas.
Yeah, you feel like there's nothing inherently wrong with your magic. That spell just didn't seem to work.
All right, well, since this thing moves so slowly, we can probably just grab what we can.
The water's still 5 feet deep, right?
Yeah, in the majority of the moat, the water is about 5 feet deep.
So the only one that would be above the water, it's like, not going to have an issue with drowning would be Moss.
Aranor.
No, everybody's taller than 5 feet.
Can I send my little tick homunculus down to see if he can pick something up and bring it back?
Yeah.
Oh, good point. See if anything happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tick glitters out from your shoulder with a whirring of gears. And it looks like little mechanical wings start to flutter, and it heads out over the moat and drops down. You watch him disappear beneath the surface of the water, and he resurfaces holding a gold coin.
Free gold.
He brings it back to you and drops it in your hand.
Make sure you mark that in the group, Blue Buddy.
Wow. No sudden rumble of footsteps from the golem. No change.
Doesn't seem to have changed anything.
Hmm. Oh, and a dumb question: with the water level down and us sort of being able to run all the way around this thing, is there anywhere with a little bit of scouting where we can see any sort of steps or ladder or anything, or is that going to be up to us to magic or climb our way out once we're done?
It looks like as years have carved the water having carved maybe deeper channels towards the center of the moat, it doesn't look like anything has been carved into the walls or what have you that would lead to easy access. If anything, over time, areas have become deeper as opposed to more shallow.
Okay. Taladar will drop the invisibility spell, walk over to the edge, and just beckon the others to join him.
Let's
Shall we?
Yep. Let's drop some ropes.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Moss will cast. Actually, no, he's not going to do it yet.
Is there anything to tie the rope to? Like that fire? What is it? Brazier? Is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Can we tie it? Is that mounted to the ground, or can we tie
it? Looks big and extremely heavy. It
Okay.
is an iron worked brazier.
Okay, tie to that. I wanted to call it brazier.
You could call it a brazier. You'd be wrong, but you can call it whatever you want.
So yeah, Aranor will tie a rope. Anybody else want to tie another rope, or
Or you're all just gonna take turns going down one?
Moss
How
has
far
a
down is
rope,
this?
I think.
How far down is it?
Yeah.
To the very bottom of the moat, below the water, is a total of about 20 to 25 feet. There's about 5 feet of water left in the moat.
So can we not just jump in?
Absolutely, you can.
Yeah, I'm just gonna jump in. Forget that
Okay.
whole rope thing.
wow,
So how are you
so
going
we
to
gotta get out. Well, she can port.
Ah,
I mean,
She don't give an F.
no.
Moss will.
Starsha's got her own ass covered. Don't worry about it.
Moss will tie off a rope and then one at the other corner and a rope down.
Yeah.
So Starsha's just going to jump in the water. Give me
Yep.
an acrobatics or a athletics check.
Damn.
She backflips off the edge of the platform and lands gracefully, diving below the surface of the water. Not too far, because she'll smash her head otherwise.
Like an Olympic diver.
It is beautiful. All of you hold up 6.0, 6.0. But you do
Just-
also hear a loud screech of stone on stone. As the
Excuse
golem,
me.
who has now reached the far side of the waterway, begins to turn in your direction.
Oh dear.
It's as if any creature entering the moat has triggered it.
Is it
Currently,
moving?
Time to fight it.
Starsha is the only one in the water. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
So
What is everybody doing?
is he moving slowly back again, or
He is currently just turned in that direction.
I think our option of avoiding a fight is not possible.
And we think this place is pretty cleared out, right?
Yep. Yeah, you've been all through it. You guys thoroughly checked everything before you decided to rest. Nothing disturbed you while you slept. You haven't heard anything since. What are you guys doing?
I mean, I'm gonna climb down
Okay.
and
I'm gonna wait. Oh, go ahead.
oh, sorry. I'm gonna
No,
start
go ahead.
handing off or grabbing some stuff and throwing it up or handing off to Moss or something. See, watch what the golem does. See if he comes quickly down the hall or if he just kind of.
So, Aranor is now at the bottom of the rope in
Mhm.
the water. You reach for some items that you can see that have piled up as the water turns the corner here. It's a handful of coins, some gems, some other trinkets, statuettes, etc., etc. It's too far to reach up. The lip of the walkway is about 20 feet up. You could certainly throw handfuls, but you couldn't hand it off to someone. So what are you doing? You've got a good couple of handfuls of stuff. What are you doing? Aranor is taking too long to decide. Before he can get a decision out, the golem starts to move back towards you. Much quicker than he had moved around previously.
Talador's not going down there. He's staying up
Um,
and out of range of this thing, but in line of sight of his party.
If you're at the bottom of the waterway, right at the end of this, right off of where the brazier is, the golem is currently about 90 feet away.
okay, I'm going to. I'm gonna
Starsha,
climb out.
it's about 60 feet away from you. Are you climbing out with the items in your hand?
No, I'll just climb out.
Okay.
I'll shove stuff in my bag and then climb up.
Okay, so you'll have to move down to where the rope is, or are you going to use some other way to get out?
Can I not just climb, like, scale the wall?
The walls are incredibly smooth here. They don't look scalable.
Okay. I'll just use the rope then.
Okay, so
Well-
you'll...
Hold on, can I just teleport up?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's only about 20 feet up to the surface.
I'll do that then.
Okay. Aranor, give me a strength check to climb that rope.
Oh no.
You're a strong boy. What's the problem?
He just moved that big old wheel.
See? No problem. Easily, hand over hand, pulls his way up the rope in a matter of seconds. Starsha just gracefully teleports with a fair amount of loot in her bag. And as you both exit the waterway and reach the surface of the walkway around the pyramid, the golem stops. Slowly turns back to the west, or the east, and begins its slow, measured movements away. Everybody give me an intelligence check.
For the dumb.
Taladar, you and Starsha have both come to realize that the golem seems to have a very specific purpose. And that is to take care of anything that enters the moat, any creature that enters the moat. And now that the moat is clear of creatures, it has resumed its duty.
He's like an alligator in a moat.
We could taunt it. If we scaled down ropes on either side, and I were to cast Wall of Fire in the middle between them, we could get it walking back and forth through that wall until it maybe is a burnt crisp of golem.
I would say that Taladar specifically, with his role, would know that if you were to just wait for the golem to get to the north side of the walkway, of the waterway, you would have enough time for probably all of you to climb down and climb back up the rope with some items before the golem could get to you.
That seems easy enough. And
Mhm.
we could just spend a day doing that. You know, every time it moves a quarter of the way around, we go to the opposite side and clean it up as much as we can, and then come back up.
Yeah, so if we want to just hand wave and not spend forever doing this, we can say that. So give me, what would be a good check? Let's do. Let's just do perception. Everybody, give me a perception check.
Could I do guidance on this, or
Yes.
I'll give guidance to someone that sucks. I'll give it to Taladar.
Can't give it to him afterwards.
Well, I mean,
Give it to yourself. Give it to yourself.
okay.
Jesus.
Yeah, Moss, who already has a high perception, and I mean Starsha's perception is good too, but this is treasure. This is Starsha's wheelhouse. She knows what she's looking for. She knows what to pick up, what has value, what doesn't. And so between the five of you, maybe with maybe with Starsha and Moss pointing out, no, leave that. Grab this instead. Grab that. You guys spend the rest of the day moving around the moat, avoiding the golem, and scooping up what you can. And by the end of it, you will have found a fair number of things. Altogether, I would say there was a lot of sort of rusted weaponry, maybe dented armor, pieces and parts of broken bits of decoration that you left behind, but bringing up pieces of filigree, silver-worked items, necklaces, rings, some semi-precious stones, etc. In addition to the various coins that you found there's about 3,500 gold pieces worth of treasure.
Woo!
In addition
So
to
just
that,
3,500?
Yes.
Wow.
In addition to that, there is a platinum goblet that is set with rubies that is worth 1,500 alone. There is also a slender-looking rod of some sort. Looks like it's possibly made of iron. It has worked matching ends that look like maybe ram's heads. And there seems to be a switch or a mechanism in one end.
Moss will cast Detect Magic. Is it magical?
It does not appear to be magical.
No.
Make sure you mark off your Detect Magic.
Yep.
And your Polymorph.
Yeah, Polymorph's already marked off.
Interesting. Felix, do you have any idea what this is?
It's like a rod for ramming.
Anybody who wants to make an intelligence check. Felix, both you and Starsha. Starsha, you've seen one of these before. Felix, I don't know if you've seen one. They're not that uncommon. This is an immovable rod. except instead of horses, this one has ram's heads.
So it's a rod that cannot be moved.
Yes, I will post it in Discord.
So you press the button and it can't be moved.
Correct. If you could get an elephant to stand on this, it would hold an elephant up.
Oh, maybe an 8-ton elephant, but a 9-ton elephant.
I've spent a considerable amount of time clearing out this waterway now. You feel like you have gotten anything of value out of here that is at least easy enough to transport. There are some larger items down there, but they don't seem to be worth the effort to haul them out and bring them with you.
All right.
So that solves the moat for us.
So, yeah, I mean, nothing else we really need to do there, right? Next, should we investigate that hole? Or what's the plan?
Well, I mean, it makes sense to see what's down there at least. I'm fine going on my own if no one else wants to.
Feel the fewer that go in, the better.
Which one are you thinking of going down?
I wouldn't mind seeing what's at the bottom of both this hole here, the one on this map. Sorry, I guess they're both on this map. The hole beneath the temple. I feel like it's close enough to the waterfall where I'd just go down the hole and see what's down there. The wormhole is far enough away where I would also want to see what's at the bottom of that separately.
So Moss will sigh and say, "Let's take a short break, and then I will venture down."
Are you sure?
Yes,
I can make you invisible too.
I expect it.
Good.
So can we take a short rest?
Yeah, if you need to take a short rest, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I have all my wild shapes in case I need them. And extra 4th level spell slot.
And that's Moss going down?
Mm-hmm. And so we want to start with this hole. So I'm also say what I plan on doing is going down this hole. I'll see if it connects to the waterfall. If not, I will come back up. Then I will fly down the waterfall. And then if I still have time, I'll fly all the way over to the worm and see what I can do there. Gonna cover a lot of ground. So also make sure all the doors are open.
And you'll have an hour before you're visible again, so long as you don't attack anything or cast a spell.
This may go poorly.
Good luck.
So I'm going to give myself pass without trace, and then I will wild shape into a large owl.
Who?
Mike Jones.
Who's Mike Jones?
Shoot, I closed my...
Sorry, so what are you turning into?
It's an owl. I'm sorry. I closed my tab with my wild shapes. Yeah, a giant owl.
A giant owl won't fit down that hole.
Really? Okay.
How big's a
regular-
giant owl?
They're a large beast. They
Oh, okay.
are. Just trying to.
Oh
get
yeah,
names
I do have a
down.
regular owl, so I'll do
Ooh.
yeah, it still has dark vision. So yeah, I'll do a regular owl.
Okay.
And I will hoot somewhat apprehensively, waiting for invisibility to be cast.
It is cast. The
And
owl
I
shimmers and disappears before your very eyes.
I will fly down the pole.
All right.
Time to seal the hole.
So Moss, the invisible owl, moves towards this 10-foot shaft carved into the floor. Before endeavoring to jump in and fly down. It is a little difficult, as wind is howling up from below. It doesn't impede your progress, it just slows you down significantly. So instead of moving 60 feet, you only move 30. But you take your time, and you begin working your way deeper and deeper until you reach about 100, 120 feet, 130 feet down. In the darkness, you can see what looks like a natural cave. Excessively windy. The floor seems to be completely covered in dismembered human corpses.
That's not a
Gore.
positive sign.
Gore splattered all over the floor and the walls of this cave. Looking back up, you can see light at the far end of the shaft you just flew down. Make a perception check. At the far end of this cave, you can barely make it out. There seems to be a large, whirling mass of wind. You can see some bones tumbling around in it. And it is emitting almost like a whispered screech as it tumbles around the room, stirring up all of the debris in its path.
So it's moving.
Yes.
Is it coming towards me?
Right now, it seems to be moving around a northern rim of this cavern.
Is there an exit to this area?
None that you can see. I'm assuming you're staying right near the shaft that goes up.
Yeah, so it's basically just like a round room or something, like a cave.
It's a natural. It looks like it's a natural cavern.
And I really don't discern anything other than this moving mass, which I assume is like some sort of elemental.
Yeah, I would say based on some of the things you've seen recently, this looks like it could be some sort of wind or air elemental.
Okay, if I don't see anything else, I will fly back up.
Okay. Flying back up, much easier. You barely need to move your wings before you come shooting out of the shaft and into the room.
Moss will just turn to the group and just rotate his head 180 degrees one way and 180 degrees the other way. Shaking his head no.
Of course, they can't see you do this because you're invisible.
That's very true. He doesn't know. Moss doesn't nonetheless. Then he'll fly out through the door on the west side and then fly down the waterfall. I assume like there's enough room for. There's wide open space there, right? That I'm
yes.
not going to.
It is a massive open void as far as you can tell.
So I'll fly down there and see what I can see.
You fly down and down and down, and it seems unending. You pass 100 feet, 150 feet, 200 feet. Just beyond 200 feet, it looks like this cavern or ravine, chasm, finally bottoms out. There's a trickling bit of stream that is coming from where the water pours over. Doesn't seem to be anything else of interest down here.
So there's another chasm the water's going over?
No. The water that was spilling over the waterfall in the temple is pooling deep down here, causing a stream to trickle off into the darkness.
Can I follow the stream a little bit?
Sure.
Just keeping my eyes open for anything of interest.
No, there doesn't seem to be anything down here.
How long have I been flying for, roughly? Or shapeshifted?
I would say maybe 15 minutes at this point.
I'll say I'll fly for 3 minutes down the tunnel. Mm-hmm. If I don't see anything, I'll turn back.
There's no tunnel down here.
Sorry, the stream. But I assume the stream is going down a tunnel.
No, there's no tunnel down here. You continue to follow the stream. It just seems to wend its way deeper into the darkness below the earth.
Oh, so it's like a big chasm, and it's just the streams at the bottom of the chasm and just flowing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. After 3 minutes, if I don't see anything, I'll turn back.
Okay.
And hopefully that means I still have enough time to fly to the worm, the purple worm, and then fly down there.
Yeah, you make your way over to where the massive corpse of the purple worm was. There are gaps around the worm, and after a little bit of time moving and wriggling your way through, you manage to find a bit of a crawl space to get through, moving past its corpse, the corpses of the dwarves, and into the carved tunnel beyond the worm. There are several other bones of long dead dwarves lying in this tunnel that's apparently been carved from this worm. The way is not straight. It bends and it twists. And it goes on for some distance. It is wide enough that all but the tallest members of your party would be able to walk and in some places crawl or slide through here without an issue.
So I assume when I started flying down the worm, I had probably 30 minutes left.
Hi.
So I'll fly for 15 minutes if it's just a long tunnel, and after that I'll fly back.
Towards the end of this long tunnel, it almost looks like steps have been carved into this tunnel. Before reaching an almost vertical tunnel that's about 50 feet or so above the floor. They do meet a set of wooden steps that have been lashed together with what looks like bones and sinew, bits of old rope, creating a makeshift sort of staircase leading up to the end of this hole. There are several odd-looking backpacks piled on the floor at the base of these stairs. You do hear sounds coming from farther to the north. This room is dark and cavernous, looks like natural cavern.
How much time would I have left?
You probably have about 10 minutes.
Then I'll fly back if I don't have. So I took like around 15, 20 minutes down the worm to get here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I'm flying back. I'm not gonna risk myself with noises around.
Okay. You make your way back up. Takes you another 5, almost 10 minutes to get all the way up and past the carcass of the worm before your wild shape runs out, depositing you on the floor just outside of the worm's lair chamber.
Wild shape would last 8 hours, I think.
Oh, okay. Invisibility would have disappeared.
But invisibility and passive trace would fall off.
I've got plenty of slots to cast it again if we need to.
Sorry, 4 hours, not 8 hours. 4 hours.
Are you reconvening with the group?
Yeah, I'm flying back to the group.
Okay. So you all see Moss enter this room through one of the doors. I'm assuming you're all still hanging around in this large hall.
Yeah, I think so. I'm basically waiting for him to show back up to get a recast if needed. Taladar would just wave to Moss and just ask out loud. Again. And wait expectantly.
Moss will have a fleeting look of, should I fuck with these guys? And then think better of it and just come out and tell him what he saw. Air elemental.
So you're dropping your wild shape.
Dropping my wild shape, yes, sorry.
Yeah.
Air elemental in the pit below. The chasm to the west seems just to go on without end, but the worm had dwarven ruins at the bottom, and then things moving around the area at the end.
I didn't say anything about dwarven ruins.
Sorry. I didn't say ruins. I said dwarven rooms or corridors is what I was assuming.
I didn't say anything about dwarven corridors either.
Fair enough. Maybe I took dwarven corpses as dwarven. So I just saw tunnels, like more tunnels, and then there's movement that I observed.
You didn't observe any movement. He's
Observed
lying to you, folks.
Observed can be hearing. I heard movement. I did hear movement, didn't I?
You heard
Something
sounds,
north?
yes. You
Yes.
heard sounds of something.
And how far down were they?
It feels like that worm tunnel went on and on and on. Seemed to go deeper than the chasm where the waterfall drains into.
I flew for about 10 minutes to get anywhere. and I as an owl, I can fly pretty fast.
I'm not going down any giant worm.
What about this elemental? Do we think it's a danger at all?
Yeah, I think it's down to the bottom of the hole. There was a lot of bones. I didn't see anything else.
There's no exits or anything that you
We-
saw?
Not that I could discern.
We have a way to control it, do we not? The spear. The spear can control elementals, can it not?
Oh. That's true.
I don't
But-
remember because it's not posted anywhere, but we have it, and I thought that was one of its abilities.
I guess the question is, do we even need to bother, or yeah, I don't know. I mean, it sounds like it was a sacrifice pit.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna get meta for a minute here. You know, if we treat this like a video game, either one or both of these holes goes to the next level. The completionist in me wants to, you know, deal with the other three cults at this level before we go deeper.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but did we hear about there's some kind of like big temple or something, isn't there? There's some kind of like common place between these, like, so there's the 4 temples like the one we're in right now, and then there's some sort of something else, and I don't know if that's one of these caves, the other cave, or some other place. But if the cave below us has an elemental in it, then that seems to be like another stage of wind stuff. Maybe we're not ready for that yet. It's hard to say. I think Taladar's main interest was, let's go make sure there aren't like 30 guys down there putting on wingsuits to fly up to kill us. And I think he's kind of satisfied that neither of these holes looks like a place where a bunch more people are lying in wait, or reinforcements are coming, or whatever, and we can maybe stop here and go somewhere else. So, like, his interest in what's below is now on par with any of the other 3 you know, temples. But he would say something like, if we might need to go deeper if we want to put this cult to an end permanently. I think we've dealt him a great blow, and we've taken a powerful artifact of theirs, but I just don't know if we've dealt with them for good. The blow we've dealt here might be enough to hold them at bay for days, weeks, perhaps? I'm not sure.
So, what would you guys like to do?
Do elementals just roam around by themselves? Would we know? Or would I know?
Make an Arcana check. Your information about elementals specifically is not complete. You know that they roam around freely on their home plane, but typically when you see elementals here, it's either because of a small rift, or a thinning between planes, or because they've been summoned.
And if something's summoned, does it last forever, or only until like the person, like if the priestess had summoned it, would it go away?
Typically a summoned elemental. I mean, with a 13, you're not entirely sure. You're pretty sure they don't just go away.
Okay.
I don't think anybody else in the party has access to this, and I haven't picked my 8th level spell slots yet, but I think one of them is going to be banishment, just because we're going to come across elementals, and that is
How
one
do you
way
have
to make them
access
go
to
away.
8th level spells?
Sorry, spells that I get at 8th level.
Oh,
Yeah, so I'm probably going to take banishment, and I think Taladar would say something like that. I've been working on crafting a new spell that I think can help with the elementals. It would take, well, it's a gamble, as are all things, but if I can cast it and get the spell to take hold, and hold it for a minute, I could perhaps banish them back to their own plane. But it is a gamble. And it won't be ready for at least another day.
I think it's time to leave this place and come back later. We have the other prophets to deal with, and we know there are people that need rescuing from the Earth Cult.
I agree. Question. I could get 3 of us across the valley and up to the tower. 4 of us. I could get across the valley and up to the tower with the fly spell. 10 minutes, and I hope that's enough to make it there in the air. Would it be worth doing that today, or would we rather have me send messages to perhaps the constable in Red Larch and others to check in on things?
My friend, sometimes you overthink things. Let's go regroup and recuperate at the tower.
I did request Savra send ravens to Lady Oshin, so maybe she will have an update for us.
Yeah, I was just thinking like casting fly at a 4th level to move 2 people, and then thrice more at 3rd level. I could basically, it'd be one after the other, but we could fly back and skip traversing the valley. Or I could do 3 or 4 sending spells and ask around what's going on. But I'm going to leave it up to you guys, because I'm kind of on the fence.
Let's go to the tower.
Cool.
That's my vote. What's
Yeah,
everybody else think?
Taladar's kind of itchy to get out of here too.
No, I'm good with going to the tower. I mean, how we get there is just up to us.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how far away is the tower, like by foot or whatever?
If you jumping from the tower and gliding down with a wingsuit or whatever, you got down to the bottom and to the entrance of Knife Point Gully in less than 5 minutes. So it stands to reason that walking from the entrance of the stairway that leads down all the way out to the entrance of Knife Point Gully and then flying up would take no more than 15 minutes total. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, so we can walk to the base of the tower and
You
see what happened to like the rest of the people that left, if there was any sign of them, or
if you wanted to walk from Knife Point Gully to the base of the tower, it's going to take probably about an hour.
Oh. Yeah, and then I can just fly us up to the top.
Yeah, that it would just be a straight shot 400 feet up in the air.
Yeah.
Okay. Is everybody good with that? Going to the tower? Starsha?
Mm-hmm.
That's what Moss wants to do.
Moss? Okay. Alright, let's do it. Let's get out of this God's forsaken place.
And so, with heads held high and pockets full, the party moved on.
Shouldn't hold your head too high. You'll trip over a stone and fall into the chasm.
What?
You guys make your way out through the temple complex the same way you came in, past the oddly shaped entryway with its many suicide holes, out past the double dwarven statues, and to the narrow, winding stairway that climbs the side of one of these chasm walls. Takes you a while. It was a long way coming down. It seems even longer going out, having to climb these stairs one after the other. After about an hour of travel, you begin to see light. And after a few more moments, one by one, you emerge into the narrow end of Knife Point Gully.
Hooray.
It appears to be right around noon. Although at this point you have all spent almost a day awake, not knowing the time of day, so far below the surface of the earth. You're all tired. You're in need of some baths, some relaxation, and some food. Another 15 minutes brings you to the entrance of Knife Point Gully as it meets the Sighing Valley. You can see easily the tower off in the distance.
All right. Do you want to?
So we can sort of hand wave whatever mechanism that you want to use to get to the tower. Whether you want to just one by one fly people from here, whether Moss wants to polymorph, or not polymorph, shape change into like a giant owl and, grab a couple of you and fly you up while the rest of you, take Taladar's fly spell. It's up to you.
Okay. Yeah, let's.
Moss would totally do large owl and
Yeah, so
talon
Moss
people up.
is gonna, wild shape, and before anyone can even say anything, he's gonna grab Starsha in one massive claw, and probably Felix in another, and just take off for the tower.
And we're not at the base of the tower just yet, right?
No, you're across the Sighing Valley from it.
Oh,
You
okay.
can see it clearly, though.
Well, I think in that case, if it's just Taladar and Rin left, Taladar would turn to him and go, I have no such tricks up my sleeve. We'll have to walk, at least until we get closer.
That's fine.
Moss will hoot happily while ferrying people.
Yeah, you after a matter of minutes, land on the top of the tower. Make an athletics check.
Oh.
Moss, as your owl. The owl has +5 athletics?
Sorry.
Well, you don't have to re-roll it, just tell me what the owl's athletics are.
It'd be Dex, right?
No, strength.
Oh, just have to be skill specified call out, then 0.
So 18.
So 18. That is more than enough. You release your talons just before you land, lightly dropping the two of them before landing on the ground. Typity-typity. So the three of you have landed on top of the tower.
Okay.
One of the knights from below comes up to greet the three of you, asking, where's the rest of your party?
Moss will start flying back.
Okay, who did he take up first?
He took Felix and Starsha.
Okay.
They should be here soon.
Moss, if you begin to fly back, you will see that Taladar and Aranor are making their way on foot across the valley basin.
Am I able to grab them both at the same time, or is Aranor too much of a tin can to allow me to lift?
No, you could grab two.
All right, I'll grab 2.
Fair enough. Yeah, Taladar's got that Got that Featherfall spell ready just in case.
I'll hold on to Taladar tight.
Well, you can't really hold on to each other. He grabs you each in a talon.
Yeah, I'm gonna slap you away if you try and hold on to me, bitch.
Oh,
He'll definitely
Gandalf
drop
style?
you if he...
Gandalf style? Is that how we're being carried?
Gandalf style. No, he's got you in a claw.
Okay.
You're being carried underneath this bird. And he flies you back up to the tower and also deposits you. Give me another athletics check.
Oh no.
How do I do an athletics check?
You can just do athletics the same way you did before, and we'll just subtract 5 if your owl is 0.
Oh, look at that.
It's still enough to drop you very lightly before he also lands. You have now reconvened on the top of the tower.
Take us to Savra.
The knight says, "Yes, of course, follow me," and leads you inside. Let's see. Which room is it? This one.
Moss will, of course, shift out of wild shape.
Well, you'd have to. You won't fit down the stairs without it.
I could sure try, but I'm not going to.
He leads you down into a very familiar location at this point. You've had many dinners here. You've had many a meeting here. You've had many combats here. He leads you down to the grand room. Inside Feathergale Spire, where Savra and one other knight are there to greet you.
Savra, it's great to see you again.
Ah, yes. Welcome back.
Have you heard from Lady Oshin? Has any news?
Not as of yet. I sent the ravens late last night when you sent.
Excellent. All is well here?
It seems to be. Things are the same they were when you left. Unchanged. Which is a good thing.
Yes, most definitely. We require some rest, some food.
Of course.
And I believe we're going to venture on to another cultist. Perhaps the earth or water cultists?
Very good. Your rooms are available to you. As of yet, we are still not full capacity as our members begin to return one by one. So please, make yourselves comfortable. Take some rest. The evening meal will be in probably 7 hours. I would say in that time, you guys can get a long rest. So if you wanted to go ahead and hit your long rest buttons now, we can then reconvene at dinner time.
I would like to send messages before I do, because I've got 4 spell slots for it.
Yep.
I think I'm going to send a... Oh boy, let's see if I have my notes here. Waiting for them to load. Trying furiously to find them. Let's see. Red Larch. I would like to send a message to... Actually, Taladar will check with the others to see if anybody has any preferences of who he checks in with. We've been below ground for a while. We've dealt a great blow to one of the cults. He's not certain if members of other cults would have heard, oh, but I do know somebody in the water cult.
Yeah, they've got that guy.
Yeah. So Talador wants to contact Constable Ornra
Okay.
at Red Larch,
Mhm.
or Kaelessa, the innkeeper at the Swinging Sword Inn, because she's the town gossip, and perhaps she might have juicier information than the constable would have. But I think he's going to stick to the constable.
Okay.
Belliard, I unfortunately don't have the names of anyone there. I would either contact the owner of the magic shop, or I think we spoke with the mayor there, but Taladar didn't really pay a lot of attention, nor did he try and foster a relationship with the mayor there. So he'd probably contact the magic shop guy and also let him know that we might swing by with some fresh coin in the next few days. Ready some juicy tidbits for us. And then maybe Jimmy, what's his name from the Crushing Wave?
Yeah, just tell me who you're starting with.
Let's start with the constable.
Okay.
And does anybody else have any input? I've got one more slot free if anybody else has anything they want to do.
My suggestion was going to be the magic shop guy.
Okay.
Okay, so you're starting with the constable?
And he'll keep it simple and just say, "We've dealt a great blow to one of the 4 elemental cults. Checking in to see if all is well in Red Larch. We may visit sooner than later. You can reply 25 words or less."
Yeah, the reply comes very quickly. Things here have been quiet. Almost exceedingly quiet, judging from the past few weeks and months. It's as if the land itself is holding its breath. It is quite unnerving. I look forward to your return.
Okay, he'll relay that to the group. Quiet, too quiet. Nothing, no news to report. Okay, on to the next. I don't remember his name, but or I didn't write it down. But the
Magic shop guy?
Yeah, the magic shop guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still looking, and there's no way I'm going to find it.
That's fine.
So, what time of day is it?
It's just past noon. It's probably
perfect.
approaching 1 o'clock.
Yeah, so Taladar will message him and just say, "Bought some things from you recently. Back in town soon with much more coin. Be ready. Anything curious happening? Anything dangerous?" And he'll leave it at that.
I'm not sure who this is, but if you're the group I think you are, I look forward to your visit. I have acquired a handful of new items. I think some of you might be interested in. Danger always brings good business, of course. Fairly quiet here, same as always. See you soon.
All right. I'm actually surprised I didn't write this guy's name down. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. What's the next one?
The Crushing Wave guy we met at the fire festival.
Okay,
Yeah,
what's the message?
I can't find his name. Arisi Kalanoth, leader of the air cult, is dead at our hands. Talidar. Talidar can't resist. Tell your master they're next. And then he'll send one more.
Talidar.
You can't resist. He'll send one more.
You don't get a response.
Oh, good. Okay. Like he kept quiet, or like the spell didn't reach him. I don't know if you can.
No,
even
you
tell
get a
if
sense that you feel like the spell reached him. There's just no response.
All right. And then one more. And I think the last one's going to go to... I want to check in with Lyria. But Talidar doesn't give a shit about him. And nobody else asked, so I am going to instead message the Mud Sorcerer.
Okay.
Arisi Kalanoth is dead, and Windvane is ours. I can't wait to see what your head will look like mounted atop it.
Jesus.
There's nowhere you can hide. I'm coming for you. That's it.
What you get back is first laughter. Who is this? I really must have done you a great disservice. It's good to know she is dead. It only furthers our plans. I assume I will be seeing you soon. That's all you get.
He sounds a lot like Lyria. I wonder if they're the same guy.
They're not the same guy. Well, you're not sure. You haven't checked.
I wonder if they're from the same corner of the world.
They could very well be.
Yeah, that's it for me. That's 3 third level and 1 4th level spell slot, and
All right.
I am tapped for the it's a new day, so I do have a Pearl of Power. Yeah, why not? I'll restore 1 more 3rd level spell slot, and nah, you know what? Fuck it. He doesn't care about anybody else. Teller's not going to message anyone else. That's it.
Okay. All right. So your sendings have been sent. You guys have taken your long rests. We're going to take a quick break here for about 5 minutes, and we will reconvene for an evening's meal with good company and maybe a bit of a celebratory sort of event in which you guys will all get some time, some downtime to spend talking, reminiscing, maybe revealing bits and parts about your pasts. But we will be back in 5 minutes.
Welcome back. Mm-hmm. I don't know. That was around the time we were pushing the thing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Hmm. All right. Is Taladar back?
Uh-uh.
Oh,
Yo!
man. There he is.
Oh,
No, I said I was back.
Okay.
is Starsha back, or did she never leave?
Hmm.
Must be pooping.
Must be. I'll give it another minute.
Ladies don't poop.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do.
There she is. There she is.
You call Starsha a lady.
Wow.
I would never presume her pronouns. All right, the gang's all back. So I will say we are going to reconvene in the dining hall. I will put you guys all there. There you go. I will change up the music a little bit. What does this one sound like? So you've gathered around. There are a fair amount of knights in here now, including Savra. Milling about. Some are sitting at the table. Some are just standing. They've got tankards of ale or flagons of wine. There is a lot of merriment. One of the knights has produced a lute, or sorry, not a lute, a mandolin,
Oh no.
just for some quiet, evening dinner music. Yeah, and so you guys are free to mingle and chat. It is a bit of a celebratory meal. Savra has brought out some of the very best wine that the tower's supplies currently stock. There is pheasant and quail. There is a large, some sort of baked fish. There are all kinds of vegetables, potatoes, greens, and some sort of massive looking pie for dessert. Looks like some sort of dark, juicy berry inside.
Savra, this meal is fit for a king. Or
Well,
queen.
it was the best that we could put together. It's a celebration, is it not?
It is. It is. Thank you so much.
So while we are all gathered here in a moment of respite, really, in the goings on around the world, we have these few moments of calm, of enjoyment. Perhaps we could take this time to get to know each other. I know almost nothing of most of you, even you, Aranor. I know very little. I would love to know more of all of you.
All right, don't everyone start at once.
Well, she'll look to Felix. You, for instance, you. Is my understanding you are new to the group, or newer than the others, at least. How did you come to join them?
Well, we were doing our chores, fulfilling our nice little indentured servitude. And then this group decided to show up and eliminate our duties from our slavery, I guess, of spending too much time gambling and losing a little too much.
I see. Yes, gambling is quite a vice. So they freed you then?
Yeah, you can say that.
Felix, you don't sound relieved. We could take you back. And Taladar just grins.
I could have left at any time.
I've seen what you can do, and I'm certain.
What caused you to stay then? For as long as you did before meeting this group.
I wasn't there too long. I just wanted to see what was happening.
This was with the water cultists at the Riverguard Keep, yes?
It was the Riverguard Keep, yes. But not necessarily with the cultists. It was more of the, I don't know, what you may call pirates.
Ah, yes. Aranor has told me a little of your exploits there. Something about hiding in a bush for a great deal of time. Is that not what you said?
That's true. I did, in fact, hide in a bush.
Believe me, it is difficult to do in full plate.
Felix, I was not aware that you were being held there due to gambling gambling payment.
Well, you didn't ask.
That's true. It's interesting.
One thing I've noticed is that the group just welcomes anyone.
Doesn't run a background check, doesn't check their or their Facebook pages or nothing.
Well, I trust everyone until they give me a reason not to.
You sling spells in the direction we sling spells. That's worked well enough so far.
Moss nods. You were helpful and ready to be kind. That's all I needed.
And you, Starsha, what is your story? You definitely look elven, but in a far different way from Taladar here. Where do you come from?
Another plane.
Another plane? What plane would that be?
I didn't know. I didn't remember that. Created my character so long ago.
Aranor was telling me he thinks you're from the Shadow Plane. Does that sound
Yay.
right?
That's it.
Fascinating. I've never been to another plane. What is it like there?
Dark.
Sounds terrible. I could see why you wanted to leave. How did you get to this plane?
I prefer not to discuss this.
I see. If you don't remember how you got here, you could just say that. That's all right. Forgetting sometimes is the best remedy for moving forward. You're here now, and really, that's all that matters.
Moss is going to take a hard look at Starsha and try to sense, is she holding back? Is she scared? Is she just unhappy and unwilling to talk about it?
Roll an insight. It's a middling insight, so Starsha, you don't have to tell him anything, but is he close to the mark? Are you holding back because talking about it upsets you? Or is it because you genuinely don't remember? Is it because you don't want to think about it?
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, so Moss, you get the sense that it's not so much that she's withholding, she just is not willing to discuss it.
Yeah. It's I'm not so much looking for the willingness to discuss. I'm looking for the emotion or kind of reaction to why she's not wanting to discuss it.
You wouldn't get that.
Wouldn't get that? Okay.
Not with that. You'd have to have an exceptional insight. You just sense that it's something she doesn't want to talk about.
Well, I can say that Starsha is quite the capable warrior.
Is that so?
She is. We have been in quite a few scraps together.
How do you fight so competently with, well, wearing what you wear? I would fear for being cut to pieces. That's why I wear all of this.
The secret is not to get stabbed.
I suppose that, yes, I could see how being dressed lightly allows you to be more nimble, have more finesse, able to dance out of danger, while as I and my companions might not be so light on our feet, so we have to be armored to protect us from blows that we wouldn't be able to avoid.
Quite true.
Taladar, tell me, what is your story? Clearly you are of elven descent, but I do see you do have... Forgive me, I have noticed the occasional tattoo peeking out from the bottom of your sleeves. Is that something from your homeland?
Taladar's chin rises a couple inches, and he gets a smug look on his face as he pulls at the belt that holds his robes loosely shut, and he shrugs them off. Studded leather armor underneath with bare arms, and you can see anyone who can read Elvish can see some extremely offensive, the Elven equivalent of Nazi tattoos up both arms, full sleeves.
There are a couple of shocked gasps from a couple of the knights in the room who appear to be maybe half elven.
And he stands there, or he sits there in the chair, back straight and chin held high, for a few seconds, letting all take it in, and then he lets out a sigh and slumps in the chair a little bit and says, "I used to be proud of these trophies from younger years that I spent in the company of radical elves seeking to restore the great elven nations that once ruled this land 10,000 years ago. But I must admit, in more recent times, well, the one we just vanquished recently, Arisi Kalanoth, the elf who held Windvane, the holy spear of wind. An elf, like myself. I had hoped when we met her that... He kind of looks around the table. That she would be something greater, something I aspired to be, something more like the noble elves of old. And instead, I found one who bowed to a profane power, one who did not stand on her own, but stood bolstered by, I don't know, by someone else's will, and it turned my stomach. I wanted nothing more in that moment to murder her, and we did, and I'm glad for that. I don't know if the elves I seek, the elves I aspire to be like, exist anymore. Certainly I haven't met one. And he turns and looks at each one of you as he says this. But I have met people, powerful people, who I aspire to be more like. Perhaps I'll never reach that goal, but I am proud to stand among you. And he looks at Savra as he says that. And you. Originally from Calimport, not the most hospitable of places, a great port city of merchants and cutthroats, gangs and thieves. My story is like many others, poor, born to a poor family. Elves in at least the quarter of town I spent early years in were looked down upon, trodden underfoot by those with coin, by those with agendas. And I lost my family young and was taken in by a lesser noble house that felt pity for me, but given an education, given food, shelter. But I lost much of my heritage until an elder elf, a tea master that served in their house, took it upon himself to teach me in elder ways. I learned the blade. I learned the blade song. Roughly. It's taken much time to perfect it, but I learned what it meant to aspire to be like the elves of old. And I think perhaps forgot that there were others of merit in the world beyond my own race. And he looks down at his arms, shakes his head, and says, I'm not proud of these marks I bear anymore. I think the shape of ears is far less of import than the shape of a person's heart, than their ambitions. He gets real quiet and sort of shrinks into the chair at that point.
Yeah, there's some murmurings throughout the room. Oh yes, yeah, of course, yeah. Oh, that sounds right. I think he's learned. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Well, you do know that there are ways to remove them.
He kind of looks up without lifting his head, and then slowly his chin rises and a smile curls across his face. Perhaps a little bit, a little bit maniacal of a grin cracks. Oh, but I like the impact they have on people when I first show them. That I don't think I want to lose.
You want people to think that you're a racist?
Why not?
Because it's not true.
But it has an effect, and an effect that I enjoy.
I suppose. Well, perhaps I just don't understand. Felix, what is that little man you have with you? That little pocket watch, or timekeeper, or what is that?
It's my little servant, Tick, that's been with us a little while.
What does it do?
He flies around. He can move things from here and there.
Does he speak?
No, he doesn't speak. And he'll just make like little ticking noises. At least not a tongue that most would understand.
Do you understand him?
I've got an idea of what he's saying.
Huh. Where did you find him?
He's a creation. He wasn't found.
You made him.
I did.
That is fascinating. Have you made any others like him?
Not like him. I do believe that I can make a few other things that I haven't had the need to yet.
I see. There might be quite a market for items such as this. You aren't using them to help you gamble, are you?
The gambling is relaxation. It's not about the result.
I see. I don't know how relaxing I would find it if I was locked in some scullery kitchen because of gambling debts.
Again, I could have left at any point.
Well, to each their own, I suppose. You, Moss, tell us about yourself. How did you find your way to this group?
Well, that is a tale. I grew up to the north here in the Desserin Hills, along the Desserin River. Just my grandfather and I. This people around me, I'm unaccustomed, but I'm learning. You know, I've learned that people can be better, and he gives an appraising look at Taladar and worse than they are, and kind of looks downcast for a moment. But I've lived mostly as a hermit. When I was a young Furbolg, my grandfather took me away from our tribe. I barely remember it, but that we left quickly. And it was just him and I for so many years. So I grew to love nature and forest and trees, and most of all, I love mosses, what the scholarly call bryophytes. And the few sojourns I took into town were just to help the farmers. You know, I have some druidic ability that grows stronger, but I help them their crops, and some of the farmers that I knew had been lost. So this is a long journey to find and bring them back.
Seems a noble cause.
Noble, not noble, they were good people, and
what
I want to see them safe.
What exactly is a bryophyte?
Oh, those are Moss, and Moss pulls out his book and starts brings it over to Sovereign, starts going over, you know, pages and pages of detailed notes.
Oh, I see. How interesting.
Moss doesn't take the hint, and he keeps on going on, and
yes. No, it's a different.
lichens are a close relative of mosses, and
these ones look slightly different than those ones. Yes.
That's an excellent eye. It's very well noticed.
What was that, Aranor? Did you? Sorry, we haven't heard from you.
These ones
much.
grow on the north side of trees.
Oh,
but these ones
I'm
here
sure
on the south
we
side.
have lots of gardeners downstairs would love to have a look at this book in the Arboretum. Aranor, tell me. We have spoken at great length, but I know little of your past.
Yes. I prefer not to talk about it usually.
Why is that?
Perhaps you have heard of the Windmare name? My great uncle was part of a scandal many years ago. He was implicated in a conspiracy against Waterdeep's ruling council.
I see. And a couple of the knights around the room nod. Oh, yes, Windmare, yes. I've heard this name.
That caused my family to be exiled. So, we ended up moving to a, I'll say, dilapidated portion of Waterdeep, but in a modest house. And I grew up there.
I see.
I used to watch the knights come into town.
Oh, yes, I remember this from creating your backstory.
Yes. So yes, I used to watch the knights, and
as did I.
I dreamt to be like one of them. And that is how I embarked on my path to a paladin of Tyr.
I had a similar situation. I grew up in not a noble house, but one of the lords of the city, a man of influence and power. It was my family's wish to be married off to an aligning house to consolidate power, and it was never, ever my interest. I was never interested in being someone's trophy wife or sitting at home doing needlework. I too watched the knights marching through the city. I longed for adventure, to see the world, meet people from different walks. And so I joined, in secret. I was young, very young, 16 only at the time. Until just joining wasn't enough. I needed to do more. I needed to prove myself. I needed to right wrongs, fight evil. So when the opportunity arose, I came with the Feathergale Knights here, thinking it was a noble cause. Originally, they were fighting the corruption, standing up for those abusing their power in Waterdeep. But somewhere along the way, the Lord Commander, as you well know, made different alliances. I understand his reasoning, but it wasn't the right course of action. And, well, you all know the result. But now that he is gone and the influence removed, I hope that we can all, the knights and I, reestablish the Feathergale Knights' reputation and get back to the real work that the Order was established for, seeking out, rooting out corruption in Waterdeep.
Hear, hear.
How do you achieve that when you're so far from Waterdeep?
Being removed from the influences in the city is the only way that we can really avoid it. We have correspondence with members in the city, as well as other contacts. We are kept well apprised of the situation back in the city. We remain here to train, apart, secluded, away from the influence, the temptation of power, of influence, of corruption. And once we have gathered a strong enough force, with enough power, learning, training behind us, we will once again return to Waterdeep. Join with our fellow knights there. Begin to compile resources, information on individuals or groups, societies that are undermining those that are truly working in Waterdeep's best interests. Removing those who are so corrupted from power, who are greedily lining their own pockets, making handshake deals with ne'er-do-wells and the less scrupulous amongst society, only to further their own gains. It will be a long and difficult process. I only hope to achieve most of it in my lifetime.
So this is something you mean to do by force?
Not by force. By influence. We will bring these people to justice. But first, information needs to be gathered. We need to investigate. We need to seek out who these people are allied with. Stem the flow of illegal gatherings, ill-gotten gains. Put a stop to any underhanded deeds. Elected officials should be elected on their merits, not in whose pockets they've lined to gain position.
Moss will turn back to the group and I feel I know much of your past, much more than I did. But we traveled together, and I'm not sure what our goals are. I know I said there are friends I wish to see freed, but I look at the chaos that these cults are bringing to the elements. Nature is a balance of chaos and order, but what they seek is unmitigated chaos, and it must be stopped. What are the aims of all of you?
Well, I rather like the world we live in, and I'd like to see it go on. While I have my issues with it, I agree too much chaos is never a good thing. Also, killing these cultists is fun and profitable. But yes, for the most part, I'm concerned with them ending the world we live in, and I have a score to settle.
My original goal was to find Savra and return her to her parents. However, we have obviously come upon something more important, which is taking care of these cultists. However, I will return Savra just so that she can let them know her feelings and return back to the Feathergale Spire.
Deems, why the fuck can I hear you grinning when you're saying this shit?
Because he is. He's smiling his face off. And you, Felix, what keeps you with this group? What do you hope to gain?
Well, we've got a racist elf wizard, a paladin from a shamed family, a female elf from another world, a hermit furblog who plays with plants. You guys met me whenever I was just hanging out, waiting to see what would happen in a cult and a pirate area, so it sounds interesting.
So you're in it just to see what happens.
And help a little.
And you, Starship, what do you gain by staying with this group? Are you in it just for the fun, like Felix?
I'm in it for the coin.
I see. Surely it's not only coin that keeps you with this group.
It's only the coin.
I see.
Insight check. Never mind.
I mean, it's a low insight check. Starsha, are you truly only in it for the coin, or is that just what you want everyone to think?
No, that's what I'm in for. To get paid for the map thing.
So Moss going to bring that up. Starship, you have acquired a map somehow. What is that map? How did you acquire it? To what purpose? To what end?
I found it and was offered a reward for finding out what it's for.
Where did you find it?
Doesn't really matter, does it?
No, I suppose it doesn't.
Well, now that you have it and you know what it's for, what do you plan on doing next?
I'll be cashing in on my reward.
What will you do with all of this fortune that you hope to amass?
I don't know yet. I'm sure I can think of something.
So does that mean you'll be cashing in now?
It's a little bit more complicated than that.
Moss is now really eyeing Starsha up, and what's motivating her here, and can you explain further?
I prefer not to.
Will you return to your homeworld, your home plane, once you've gathered enough fortune?
No, I have no plans to do that.
Well, should you ever find yourself in Waterdeep, once the corruption has been removed, of course, there are a great many beautiful homes. Excellent real estate there, should you ever wish to settle.
So Moss is now extremely suspicious of Starsha. Actually, I won't say anything further right now.
There is still the matter of the unfinished business we have with the other cults as well. 3 to go, and if their dens are as filled with loot as the folk that filled this tower once, Starsha, I think you'll be quite motivated to stick with us to the end. And there's also the matter of the spear. Has anyone thought to wield it in a fight? I know it might be helpful if we delve deeper beneath the Air Temple, but it's a powerful artifact. Someone should use it.
Yes, Aranor spoke to me briefly about this weapon. May I see it? No? Okay, that's good.
I don't remember who has it.
I
think
think Peeps
Aranor
had
does.
it.
Yeah, I think Ren had it.
I do. I'll hand it over.
As you hand it over. No, I'm just kidding.
Roll for initiative.
A look comes over Savra's face when she holds it. This is... It... She drops it.
Maybe that wasn't a wise idea.
It contains an essence. His essence. Yansi Bin. This weapon has a purpose. I don't know what it is, but it has a purpose. Keep it with you. Don't sell this.
We will.
Amash says, perhaps we shouldn't be giving the spear to those who are so recently under this entity's control.
Savra's strong. Are you okay, Savra?
She taps her chest with her fist. Yes, I am strong.
We don't know about the downside of it, though, do we?
No.
But now we at least know it is linked to the elemental prince.
Right.
I don't know what purpose it holds. I just know it is important.
Sounds expensive. Better not hand it to Starsha.
It is beautiful. Look, it is covered in dark sapphires. Perhaps one day they could be pried out. I think it would make an excellent necklace. Don't you agree, Starsha?
Sure.
Aranor takes notes.
Mm-hmm. I myself have always been partial to diamonds. For their purity, of course. You should write that down, too.
Already done.
Well, I think it is well past time for dessert. Shall we? A few more desserts are brought out in addition to this giant berry cake or berry pie that's on the table. The music continues into the evening. It's a good night. It's relaxing, it's jovial, it's fun. You've all learned a little bit more about each other. Even if what you've learned is they don't wish to discuss it, or that their background is clouded, or not maybe what you thought it was. You have all learned something.
I think at some point during the night, Taladar is gonna slowly just get up while everybody's chatting and carrying on, and he'll make like he's gonna walk over to the windows and just sort of quietly, pensively stare out into the darkness. And as he does, he brushes Rin on the shoulder and casts Enhance Ability, Eagle's Splendor on him. So for the next hour, he has advantage on charisma checks, and he'll quietly mumble something like, "We may not be back. Get after her, you fool." And Rin might feel a little bolstered and a little more sure of himself for the next hour. He'll wander over to the windows and just stare out into the starlight.
Aranor will start chatting it up with Savra.
Okay. As the evening wears on, you all might, one by one, find yourself retiring to the rooms that you've been provided. Unless anyone would like to do otherwise. It seems that Savra and Aranor, as well as maybe a couple of other knights, spend time well into the evening, chatting quietly around the table before the other two knights head off to bed, and it's just you two left alone.
Okay. Well, I let her know that I'm really glad that she is okay. And Aranor is very nervous.
Do you ever see yourself going back to Waterdeep?
At this moment, I do not. There may be a time, but right now, I feel like there's a lot to be done. What about yourself?
For now, my work is here.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually, I will need to go back. Eventually, it will be time to move our efforts and our headquarters there. I would very much like it if you would join me then.
Of course. I would like to clear my family name and bring honor back to my family.
Of course.
But yes, I will be happy to join you there.
We have an agreement then. To the future.
To the future.
And we'll fade out on that scene. So all of you find yourselves at rest after enjoying a very good evening. I need everybody to roll a D20 for me. Just a straight D20 roll.
Oh boy.
Okay, 15, 12, 5, 13, and 10. Sometime during the night, while you are all at peace, at rest. Felix, your sleep, your dreams are disturbed by a terrible vision. In it, you hear screaming. You hear a deep, resonating rumble, as if the very earth itself is splitting open. It sounds like an avalanche, collapsing, stone falling, wood ripping, and endless screams from not just one, not just a handful, but many, many people. And for an instant, you can see in your dream your surroundings. They look familiar. It looks like the town of Red Larch. And most of it seems to be gone. And that is where we will end our session.
Oh shit.
Have I been to Red Larch enough to recognize much?
I would say that yes, you have.
Okay.
You definitely know it's Red Larch. You might not be able to pick out, oh yeah, and that's the smithy, and that's the... But you know at a distance that it's Red Larch.
Okay.
In the vision, there was a sign swinging at, at an arch at the entrance of town. Welcome to Red Larch. Maybe the sign's hanging, a little crookedly.
Population 1,018.
Not anymore.
Oh no. This is Taladar's fault.
So
I mean,
we will.
when is it
end there.
not?